Glen Breton Rare 14-year-old, the 2022 Canadian Single Malt Whisky of the Year. Hey my whiskey people, Mark Kaufman here for WhiskyWhistle on YouTube, sharing a little whiskey awesomeness from Winnipeg, Winterpeg, the center of North America, bringing you the 2022 Canadian Single Malt Whisky of the Year here on WhiskyWhistle. And that is North America's first single malt whiskey, Glen Breton, aged 14 years. Let's get that poured. Good pop there. I've got this upside down. No, I don't. Oh yeah, that's funny. Okay, here we go. Nice pour. Now, I've had quite the success with Glen Breton Rare, starting back with their 10-year-old in 2015, which was my 2015, 2016, one or the other. I think it was 2016. My Save It Whiskey of the Year for that year was the Glen Breton 10-year-old, which I implore you to try it out. It's fantastic. Anyway, so here we are again, like 7 years later. And this is just a beautiful whiskey, and it really, really took my heart from the moment I cracked the bottle, and confirmed that a few times that yes, this is definitely award-worthy here on WhiskyWhistle. Now, something really funny about this. So they got these really cool little chest, golden chest type of bottles. It tells you a lot about the whiskey in there. It also tells you the cask number, which is really cool. But something that's quite funny, it's a family, like a smaller operation, and you get interesting things like this, where that's the right way up, but then they put the backside on upside down, and just a little bit of a funny thing. So Glen Breton, hopefully that person gets to figure out, you know, which way to put that on in the future. But for me, it's a very endearing, cute type of a little you know, tiny little little flub from the production line. So pretty cool. All right, so I got that poured. Now we'll get into the color of the whiskey, the legs of the whiskey. Then we'll check out the nose, the palate, and the finish, neat and with water. And then give it a WhiskyWhistle whiskey score at the end of the video. So please stay tuned for that. But while we're at it, why don't you subscribe to the channel? There's an emblem right over here. And then click the little bell, ding, ding, so that you're notified of future Whiskey Whistles. And if you're enjoying WhiskyWhistle and you're enjoying the reviews, the content that I create, then why not support the channel and get involved a little bit more closely on Patreon, patreon.com/WhiskyWhistle. And there's a variety of subscription prices from going from like $1 and something a month and up. And if you just want to support a flat $1 or just $1 once and done, I'd really appreciate that. So do check me out there, patreon.com/WhiskyWhistle. Patrons get their name in the credits at the end of each video. They also get advanced viewing of future Whiskey Whistles, and they'll also get their own WhiskyWhistle Glencairn glass with enough support. And I'm just about finished sending to everybody. So if you haven't got one yet, you will get one very, very soon. All right, so we'll get into that. The color, first of all, what do we see for color here? It's a little bit paler. That's a pale gold, like 18 karat. Probably not gold from India. So a lighter shade. I don't believe there's color added there. And it's 43%. Well, it's actually fairly dark. Yeah, it's like you know, 18, 24 karat gold. I don't believe there's color added. I don't think it's chill filtered, but it doesn't say so on the bottle. So Glen Breton, if you are not chill filtering, then that might be something that you should get on your labels, because that's what top-end whiskey consumers want to see going forward. 43% ABV, so that's a great strength, and the prices are very reasonable. You can buy them direct in Canada from their own website. I think it's glenbreton.com, or it's Glenora. The distillery is called Glenora. The products are called Glen Breton. So just do a search and you'll find their website. I'll put a link in the description below. And bought this with my own cash, and I'm really looking forward to sharing this with you. So we talked about the color. Let's check out those legs. Okay, Medium speed first legs, fairly thick looking, which is nice. Now these are predominantly ex-bourbon casks. Yeah, fairly beefy legs. The first leg's fairly quick. The second legs haven't started to trickle down yet. Just starting there. So I'm expecting a pretty nice mouthfeel. You can see one there just starting out. Hopefully you can get a sense of that there. Okay. Let's expect some nice mouthfeel here. Let's check it out together, okay? The nose, first of all. It's got some Campbellton style funk in there. There is some sweet mushroom notes. And I believe we have a little bit of peat involved here because they do a lot of peating at Glen Breton, Glenora. Sweet apples, some fresh, like field berries, wild berries. Big potent vanilla. Some rooibos tea, which is interesting. And I don't think this tells us about the casking here. It's a rather generic back label, just telling you the history. Such an intoxicatingly wonderful nose. Let me check this back label here. Yeah, really not a lot here about the actual casking. Again, I think it's mostly ex-bourbon. And it reminds me a lot of Arran as well. So there's an islandness to this, and that's fantastic. It's on Nova Scotia. It's very coastal. Some rich, like a cherry dark chocolate in there. And that first kind of Campbellton funky type of nose, because you're smelling it consistently, you get kind of acclimatized to that particular scent. But just imagine it's got a slight umami mushroom type of a flavor there. Scent. Okay, on to the palate, folks. Cheers. Bread pudding. A little bit of fresh hay. So grassiness to it. That bread pudding with vanilla, some raisins in there. Lots of barley flavor here. Lots of malted barley. Rich, almost like a barley tea, which is really popular in Korea. You can just take some malted barley, throw some hot water on it, and see how it is. And when I think of the style of Glen Breton, it's very much the, not so much the cask influence, but more so the malt, the fermentation, and the distillation technique that's a much higher percentage of the flavor outcome than many other distilleries today. And it's really, it's very much like an old school Scotch whiskey, which is kind of what they were going for. And they got in a bit of hot water with the name and everything else. But hey, that is New Scotland, the province of New Scotland, with tons of areas deemed glens, and glen this and glen that. And they're in an area called Glen something. The distillery is called Glenora. Anyway, so think of it as you will. They deserve it, and it's fantastic whiskey. I don't think it needs water. The finish, by the way, is sweet. Again, a little bit of that hay. A tiny little bit of something effervescent. Almost fizzy-like. And it's a really sweet, barely dry, just slightly dry finish that goes on a good medium to long length. All right, so with water now, let's check out the nose. It's sweeter, more of the sweet barley, sweet malted barley notes. The smell of cooled down wort, and I know because I've brewed, and that's the smell and taste. Actually, it's really interesting to try. If you do brew, make sure you try some of the wort, the unfermented barley juice. Imagine that bread pudding or oatmeal with brown sugar, a bit of butter. And that butter adding that savory note, a little bit of saltiness to it. Same delicious medium finish, sweet, barely dry. It's a really, really enjoyable whiskey. Excellent. Oh, I took the bottle away. Why did I do that? Well, let's get on to the WhiskyWhistle whiskey score for Glen Breton 14-year-old. What is that going to be, folks? It's going to be 91 out of 100. You heard it, 91 out of 100 is the WhiskyWhistle whiskey score for Glen Breton 14-year-old from Glenora Distillery in Nova Scotia, Canada. Get over here. Oh, my first whiskey hug with Glen Breton and a nice kiss on your dimple. Wonderful. I highly recommend it. Check out their website. Do some shopping. They have occasional sales there. Check that out. You can also get it at better retailers throughout Canada. You find it locally or buy it online. It's better to buy it online. All right, so thanks for watching. Again, my name is Mark Kaufman. Take care, folks. Don't forget to subscribe. We'll see you next time.